Welcome back to Midwest eSports Formula One Division 1. We are racing week 4 today in Abu Dhabi. We've been off the past 2 weeks, I think. We missed Vegas. I don't remember the race before. No, we did the second race, I believe. We missed the first race, did the second, missed the third, back for the fourth. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah. We handled, we're in season 11. We got Brazil. We got Imola. We missed Las Vegas. And then last week we paused. There was a group-wide pause for the American Thanksgiving.
That's right.
Happy Thanksgiving. If you're in the States, you're going to hear it again in the intro to the race. But yeah, I hope everyone had a wonderful Thanksgiving. Did you do anything good for Thanksgiving?
Yeah, we went to family for dinner at least, and then we were moving. I think we mentioned that before. So first broadcast in the new studio. Hopefully it lasts because I don't have hardwired internet yet. And I saw that one of the drivers is grabbing his hardwired internet cable for some connection issues. So I'm hoping that holds through. If not, I'll run one right through the roof.
Yeah, it is what it is. I was going to say, you beat me to it. I'm going to say that background looks a little different than it usually does.
Still a
and
white wall.
the mic sounds a bit different than it usually does. So it's not the acoustically treated room that you had for what, 3 years?
4 years. Yeah, over 4 years.
Wow.
So, and that one wasn't decorated until year 2 or year 3, I think.
Yeah, it treated you well. It did what it was intended to do. But welcome to your new home down in the basement in the little the rat shack down there. Can't wait to see that evolve as we go through the season. But we are not an interior design live stream. We are a racing live stream here tonight. We have all 20 drivers. I'm not sure what Vegas looked like, but I think as far as our broadcasts are concerned, this is the first time that we've had all 20 on the grid together in one spot.
I think so. We may have had one race where we had 20 and then something in qualifying or first lap of the race caused some issues and we didn't finish. I remember one of the Brazil races, it was just drop after drop after drop. I think we got to like 13 cars left on the grid by the end of the race.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting out here. We're going to obviously get into driver and constructor standings closer to race time. But definitely, if you have been following this season, you know the name Gott Palmer. You know what that Williams looks like, and you know that he has collected the checker flag 3 times out of 3 times. Gott Palmer is running an undefeated season heading into race number 4 here in Abu Dhabi, and it's anyone's guess. We say it all the time, but we do know that Lightwork, Scarenzi, and others sometimes prefer these tight, narrow street circuits, and especially with Abu Dhabi having so many open straights, double DRS zones, that is going to make for a lot of very entertaining race moments here today. Hopefully we're going to see a lot of wheel-to-wheel action as these drivers try to dismantle Gott Palmer's perfect season.
And you say Gott Palmer's perfect season, but as we go back through the results, I mean, race 1 was incredible. Gott Palmer took the victory at the very last second of the race. Ryan Rodz got pole position in Brazil. He led the almost entire race, and then Gott Palmer swept in. And then last week, Gott Palmer finished in first place, I believe. But then after the stewards got involved, he dropped down to second, giving Gott Palmer the first place in the race. We didn't witness it, so we don't know what happened. But there are 2 races where he wasn't first until seconds before the finish line and then dropped down. And last week in Vegas, he did finish in third, although it looks like that was 30 seconds behind the leader, Gott Palmer. Scarenzi was just 2 seconds behind in second place, and then a 30-second gap.
So what is going on here with Scarenzi? I mean, we can speculate all day long, but, from such a command in season 10 to now fighting, mid podium here. Is this just other drivers rising to the occasion, or is something going on with Scarenzi? Is he maybe not pushing as hard as he was? He's not practicing as much as he was whenever he entered D1, a little later in the season last go around.
Well, first, I do want to thank Dallas Johnson for subscribing. I heard the F1 radio chat go off in my ear. Second, Scarenzi is still in third place in the Drivers' Championship. He is at 149 points. Ryan Rodz 164, Gott Palmer 181. So he's always consistently up at the top, and we have seen that work for several teams. I believe Alpine last season didn't really have any victories in the races, or very few, but still won the Constructors' Cup because they were so consistently in the top 5, top 10 of the races.
Sorry, I was reading the chat and I can't read sarcasm, but it's coming from Cake, so I'm assuming that it's sarcasm. He says, joining us on the grid tonight is a real-life F1 Academy driver. Absolute scenes. I don't know if he's being serious or not.
I know anyone else, I might believe it. I feel like from
like looking at all the names, like who is it?
Well, actually, Dallas Johnson, who did just subscribe and is using the wrong YouTube account, says that it's Pork Chops, who is the commissioner. Man, I don't want to mess that up now. So he would know if we do have an actual Academy driver here.
Yeah, Mr. Johnson, what are we doing? What's going on over here?
That sounds like a NASCAR name. Dallas Johnson.
Maybe that's his race. Maybe that's his iRacing account over there.
Or maybe that's his real name.
Maybe Pork Chops. Hey,
is he the Academy driver?
If that's Pork Chop's real name, he hit the lottery. Okay, he doesn't need to play any scratch offs for the rest of his life. He hit the lottery. Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Never listen to Cake. Okay, well, we do definitely have some talent out there, and it will be very interesting to see what the top drivers are able to pull out here in Abu Dhabi tonight. Scarenzi and Gott Palmer especially.
I think that's why Nicky, always using different names, is using Hamda Al Kubasi, who is an F1 Academy driver for MP Motorsport.
I see. Yeah, see, I understood what Nicky, and I assumed that's what was going on there, but I just didn't know. I didn't have time to look up the driver name that Nicky chose for tonight's race before I spoke. So my fault. We do have a weather report coming from VTech, looking like we're going to have a dry race tonight in the desert. Or in the desert, next to the water. It's in the UAE, it is going to be dry. So the Marina will be ready for those slick tires here. Tour in just about 14 minutes. We are 14 and a half minutes out from the checkered flag in aero racing. The first one to set a fastest lap, 1:2:29.
Alpine always getting close to the top of the leaderboard. We have Haas, the first team to set full times. You know, they are 10th in the Constructors' Cup. Right now, they were second and third, but Nicky has now set the fastest lap. Gott Palmer is just a few seconds away from crossing the line, but I did see him get close to one of his Williams teammates, but that doesn't matter. He is at a 1:22.48.
Almost half a second faster than aero racing down in the Alpine. We are still very early in the session, so anything can happen as we are now on board with GSR Edwin, another front-runner contender for this year's title. And the Mercedes looking clean here. We have caution in all three sectors, but that's all right. It happens. That's what qualifying is all about. This is a track that I am not... It's not one that jumps out whenever I'm just wanting to hop on and play around. It's not one that I'm like, oh yeah, let's jump to Abu Dhabi. But every time I find myself on this circuit, I end up loving it. It is such a fun rip. And there are some very challenging parts, you know, especially at the end there in Sector 2, Sector 3. There are some very technical corners that could make or break your entire race. Yeah, as we see right there, one of the Alfa Romeos, Cake just kicking out the back end there around that chicane. It can really, if you do not respect these chicanes, they're not going to respect you. So this one can really throw you around. But if you get that perfect lap, stay on that delta, it's going to reward you tenfold.
Yeah, I really like the beginning, those first parts in Sector 1, because they look like big sweeping corners on the map, but when you drive them, you do have to hit it pretty right. Otherwise, you're going to have to let off the throttle a bit, recollect yourself. You have to hit the first one perfect. If you do that, you can hit the next two at a very fast speed and potentially get a chance to overtake before you even get to the first DRS zone.
I saw Cake slide it out in the same corner again. Just a little bit of oversteer there, getting that little fishtail rear end to wiggle around that. I forgot where we were on the track, but see if Cake is able to reel it in here with, over 10 minutes left in qualifying. He will be able to reel it in, but this is not a practice session. He is setting a time for the race, so he's definitely going to be pushing. There's no real learning here anymore. This is all about time and pace. So we'll keep an eye on Cake in the Alpha. We'll see if he's able to just reel it in before this race. We may see him slide out some collateral damage from that Alpha if he's unable to do so.
I am hoping that Alpha gets a race where they get both cars to cross the finish line. They have points, but their the gap has grown a little bit. It's only 40 points right now, so it's not huge in the grand scheme of things. We're only in week 4. They have plenty of time to catch up, but it's not where you want to be at this point in the season. You really want to start to make some moves here.
Absolutely. Holy crap. The Penguins came back to beat the Tampa Bay Lightning 4-2 tonight. I'll take that any day of the week. And checking back in chat. Okay, Pork Chops. That's the coolest name in the world. I don't know why you go by Pork Chops. Just, I'm jealous. I don't know anyone else with a cooler name than Dallas Johnson. Anyway.
I can't remember his last name, but I did work with a Denver once before. And I thought that was the coolest name at the time.
Yeah, just name me after a city. Here's my son, Tucson.
I was about to say Austin, but Austin is a pretty acceptable name.
Yeah, that's
I'm gonna
just
name
one
him
of them,
something
isn't it?
daring. I'm gonna name
Here's
him
my
Austin.
son, Harrisburg. Harrisburg Bell.
No. I believe my mom, but she said Yari scored. The goalie.
No.
We'll be right back.
We'll be right back. Yeah, take a quick look at that one while I stay on board here with race day, heading into the pits. I'll take a quick little breather right there, see what's going on with that Ferrari.
He sure did.
Wow, what happened?
I don't even know if that touched the ice before it went into the other net.
So insane. he sent an empty netter.
Oh yeah, he went down on one knee like Sid and just launched that thing.
Has Fleury gotten one yet?
No.
Oh, poor guy. That's all he wants. He wants a fight and a goal. Yes, he did. Oh my gosh.
Hearing from Dallas that there's a story behind the Pork Chops name. We'll have to hear that one at some point too. Love hearing gamer tag names and how people come up with them.
I was going to say, we really need to find a way, the next time Chops is available, I would love to have him on for qualifying. Somebody, one of the stewards, one of the commissioners, hopping on just to join us here and give us a little bit of insight. That would be a fun story for the chat. Maybe in one of the upcoming races we can get that. There is the Ferrari in the, which livery is that? Is that the Vegas livery?
Yes, with the white tail.
It sure is. That's beautiful.
Good looking car.
Gorgeous. Wow, the first Pittsburgh Penguins goalie to ever score. Wow, that's amazing. Fun. All right. Well, I was eating dinner and I saw that and I was like, I should put the Pens game on, and they were down like 2-0. I was like, never mind. And yeah, all right. That's a highlight reel I'm gonna have to watch tomorrow. We are, come on, cautions. Where are we? Are just under 8 minutes to go in qualifying one, and only got Palmer still holding the lead with that early pace. I spoke too soon. He's holding it. It's just a little bit faster with a 1-2-2, 3-3-7 now. Got Palmer setting that bar higher and higher as we go. But Ryan Rod's in race day not far behind, and Scarenzi to boot, all on an outlap, all looking to take pole position here with just 7.5 minutes to go. They can definitely do it. 3, if not 4 drivers who could be knocking on Got Palmer's door here not too long into the future. Ryan Rod's on screen.
Out of all of them, he has a good chance at matching Got Palmer's time. And he is only 1.5 tenths, 15 hundredths, something like that behind. It's a pretty small gap right now. There is 8 minutes left in qualifying. So Got Palmer, sure, can get more time out of that car if he wants to. Ryan Rods is going to be pushing for it. And Light Work in the other AlphaTauri is also up top too.
Both putting in pace. And I know the last race we had in Imola, a couple drivers weren't aware that we were racing in Imola, did not have the right setups, were running some weird configurations, but that does not seem to be the issue here tonight in Abu Dhabi. All the drivers seem to be buttoned up and ready for action. We have Ryan Rods heading into this technical section. We see a McLaren dipping off into the overshoot to allow Ryan that space to set this lap. You can see the chivalry in action there on the tarmac. Here we go. Ryan on the finish straight. Will he be able to get it? He will. Ryan Rods goes fastest with a 1-2-2-1-5-4.
he was cooking through that one. I was a bit worried in sector 2. I couldn't tell if he had to slow down for one of the cars pulling off or if that was just where he liked to gear shift. Because I know these guys turn in different spots than we do when we race because they know the perfect racing line. We don't always, so still got to learn where they're turning and why they're turning.
We like to think that we can handle it, but not even close. Board now with Race Day currently sitting 5th place in 1:22.8. He comes across the line. 1:22.272. It's not enough for first, but it will push him up into 2nd place. Scott Palmer still in the pits with a 3rd place. I forgot the word. What do they use in the actual broadcast? A preliminary? No. I forgot it. Never mind.
No, I was going to help you because I had the word and then I lost it too.
No, it starts with a P. What is it?
Provisional.
A provisional. Thank you. A provisional 3rd place start. And, yeah, just waiting to see if Scott Palmer heads back out there. We know he will, but it's a matter of getting out there now or waiting until the very end. Ton of these drivers are heading into the pits now, so it might be a little congested the closer we get to the end of qualifying here. We are now under 5 minutes to go. Ryan Rod still sitting pretty up top, followed by Race Day and Scott Palmer.
We also have Sui still out there in the Alfa Romeo. I see a couple people most likely in like the middle to the end of the pack staying out right now, taking advantage of the empty track and setting or trying to set their time. They may have enough to go back into the pits and do one more, but once you're this far into qualifying, you might as well just try and stick out these last couple of laps, see if you can squeeze out that time.
We'll see if the Alfa Romeo is able to set pace. We see his teammate Cake down in 20th right now with the slowest lap of the bunch. We'll see if Sui can improve on that, try and get them further up in this grid order.
Overall, the times are pretty close right now, though. We have a 1:22.1 in first and then a 1:23.9 in 20th. So just under a 2-second gap. I feel like we have seen some larger ones before, though, in qualifying. This is a bit shorter of a track, or on the short side. But at the top, I mean, look at how many people are in 1:22. Don't always see that many people grouped up.
No, and especially with 2 DRS zones to look forward to. This one is going to be a little chippy. You hope you don't see anything that is race ending, obviously, but it will be a very heated race for sure. Gunnar in the McLaren has decided to head out. We should be seeing some times being set down there for the 18th place driver momentarily, along with Cake Thomas now heading out. Scarenzi and Lancy deciding to take their last jogs along with Edwin.
Looks like Electric Blade is now out for the Haas, so he won't improve on his time. He is currently in 14th. VTech, just 2 positions below him, and the Mercedes is about to cross the line as well. And I think he's going to jump up a bit, more than a bit. He's up into 8th place.
Wow. Yeah, what a jump by VTech. I do want to talk about the Haas for a wee bit. Obviously, we know that they have yet to complete a single race this season with both cars crossing that line. So do we think that we're going to see that today with Electric Blade bowing out early? I know that's not, a prediction, but Scavney also at the back of the pack there. I'm not sure. It's anyone's call.
I don't know if we did a race in Abu Dhabi last season, so
we did not.
I guess we'll have to find out, right?
Yeah,
I don't know. I mean, some of the tracks like Brazil in real life doesn't always have many safety cars, but I've heard in the league there are always a ton. So it could be one of those things here too.
Yeah. Just letting you know, I'm on a smaller screen now for the bit rates. You having some connection issues. Looking like we might have some connection issues that Mitch is working through. We will let you know if we need to take a pause from the stream. Again, Mitch just bought a brand new house. He is now the proud owner of a mortgage and a bunch of DIY home repairs. That honeydew list is growing by the minute, but he does not have wired internet yet. So Command Center is kind of floating on the hopes and prayers of the Pittsburgh wireless internet connections. So Xfinity, please be kind to us tonight. But thank you for bearing with us.
On my end, it looks a bit better now. I opened the door. I know that sometimes works wonders. Xfinity did go down twice yesterday, so that can happen too. But we should get back to qualifying because we just have a few seconds left. These fellas are out on their last laps. Ryan Rods is 0.3 of a second faster than his current provisional pole position. And I didn't see anyone else matching that.
I can only see the tiny little screen right now, so I'm not sure if you have a monitor or you could throw that to keep Parsec up for me. Thank you so much. I couldn't read anything. That is the end of qualifying. We still have time remaining on the clock because there are still cars remaining on the track. But as these drivers complete their final laps, we are on board with race day, seeing if he can set pace to try and beat Ryan Rods. That 1:22.154. GSR Edwin goes third fastest. Scott Palmer still out there in the hunt. Lancey and Scarenzi also finishing 5th and 6th, respectively. There are still a ton of cars. Hundreds, sorry. There are still a ton of cars out on track.
And we are getting more crossing the finish line. Race day is going to stay in third. Galt Palmer in second. Ryan Rods setting the fastest time again with a 1:21.958. And just a few drivers are left out there. Cynical is going to jump up into 7th, and that is all of the drivers left to qualify.
Well, there you have it. We will wait for the final scorecard to pop up on the screen, but qualifying has concluded here in Abu Dhabi. We are just moments away from the start of the Yas Marina Circuit, the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix here in MidWest eSports Formula One Division 1 on Nick and Mitch. The drivers are heading back into pit, getting ready for the action. I am vamping, waiting for that card, waiting for Mitch to click the transition to go to the next. It's fine balance, and we took 2 weeks off, so we are just all rusty right now.
Yes, and I do have a 150-foot Ethernet cable somewhere. So if I don't get it through the ceiling, because the router is just above me right now, next week I will run that cable all the way through the basement, up the stairs, through the kitchen and the living room into the router.
All right, well, you have about a minute of my intro commentary to punch a hole through your floor to get yourself wired. But here we go from Abu Dhabi, week 4 of the Formula One Midwest Esports Division 1, Season 11, all of that good stuff. The information was there. Let's head to the race. Happy Thanksgiving to those in the States, and a big welcome back to everyone. It's week 4 and we're back in action from the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix at the iconic Yas Marina Circuit. Where else in the world can you find a multi-billion-dollar island development, including a marina that moonlights as a racetrack, a Ferrari theme park, water park, world-class concert venue, shopping center, golf course, and multiple hotels? It's hard to follow Las Vegas, but Yas does it with style. Nestled in the heart of the UAE capital, this track boasts a 3.2-mile layout with 16 exhilarating turns. The marina's high-speed straights, double DRS zones, and challenging chicanes are always amplified by the fact that this contest runs under the lights. 4,700 of them to be exact. And tonight, we join MidWest's top class of speed demons as they all try to put an end to Gott Palmer's impressive undefeated season.
And after a thrilling Week 3, the Constructors' Cup standings have taken another dramatic turn. Aston Martin has seized the top spot with 267 points, fueled by Scarenzi's impressive second-place finish in Vegas. Williams has made a remarkable leap into second with 245 points, thanks to Gott Palmer's stunning victory on the Vegas track. Alpine has solidified its position in third, despite a mixed performance in Vegas with an 8th and 11th place finish. Ferrari, the previous leader, has suffered a setback, dropping to 4th place. Their qualifying positions in Vegas of 3rd and 6th were not reflected in the race, with a disappointing 16th place finish and a DNF. AlphaTauri is tied with them in 5th place with 222 points. Red Bull has slid into 6th place with 200. Their performance in Vegas was hampered by Sharia Coleslaw being the only driver racing for the team. After that, Mercedes, McLaren, Alfa Romeo, and Haas have maintained their 7th through 10th positions respectively, but Haas has lost further ground with 3 straight DNFs.
Well, we are certainly in for a treat tonight. It's a fight under the lights here in Abu Dhabi. It's Week 4, and this is MidWest eSports Formula One Division 1 on Nick and Mitch.
And it is formation lap time, down to a science, even if qualifying commentary wasn't.
Yeah, it was a little rough, but we are here. This is the big show, the big man up top. I was calling him a rookie in the first half of this season, but he is anything but. One of the legends of MidWest eSports, Ryan Rods, retakes his position as a Division 1 driver in Season 11 as he leads the pack here from Week 4 in Abu Dhabi. Of course, have our eyes on both of the Ferraris in the first two lines up. Wow. Oh no, it's carrying over from qualifying. Both of the Ferraris in the top 4 here to start this race. We're going to see if they can fight back up in the points following their disappointment earlier in the season. Mitch is currently headphones off. Juggling. It looks like he's jump roping. Nope, he has found a cable. He's now walking off screen and presumably upstairs to throw his foot through his newly purchased flooring up in his whatever's above his office and basement right now. So we'll see if we lose connection. It'll be pretty obvious if we lose connection here. But again, thank you for bearing with us. Barring any technical network connections on our side, but we are here nonetheless. Formation lap is wrapping up as the drivers are approaching the grid. They will line themselves up and we will be underway here momentarily. We will be on camera on board with Ryan Rods as my switcher is again upstairs deciding to thunder punch the carpeting so he can run an Ethernet cable down through. GSR Edwin appears to be disqualified from the session. We'll see if he left or if that was a... We'll have to see if we if his car is still on track. Yeah, he may have just had a little infraction there towards the end. But we are underway. Lights are out. Week 4 of the MidWest eSports Formula One Division 1 Season 11 contest is underway in Abu Dhabi as Ryan Rods takes a lead over Cali Robb. Tried to get him on the inside corner there. Ryan Rods slams the door shut as he grows his lead to almost half a second. We're not even out of Sector 1.
And I am back. The cable is plugged in, and I am hardwired, and the speed is back up.
Let's go. Amazing. That was honestly record time.
So I can't wait until my girlfriend comes out and sees this massive blue cable running through the entire house, but it is worth it.
She comes out and clotheslined herself after coming home from work.
You might hear a thump upstairs in a couple of minutes.
We lose the stream. Oh,
we haven't had any accidents on track, however, though, and we are about halfway through lap 1, so that is a good sign for everyone on the track and a great sign for Alfa Romeo and Haas right now.
A little bit of back and forth there in the back of the pack. Fireballer and VTEC going after it, but now Fireballer overtakes Nicky for 12th. Fireballer making money moves. Cake Thomas moves past the Haas for 15th place, and there was also some move mid-pack. Was that Scarenzi or light work?
I think it was Scarenzi jumping over light work. There is a ton of movement down here. Looks like VTEC has also dropped a couple of positions.
Yeah, VTEC was just in a pretty heated battle with Fireballer going back and forth. Ryan Rods setting fastest lap there. But VTEC, not sure if he just caught a bad airstream, bad line, whatever else, is now back in 17th as Fireballer is in 12th. Incredible what a couple of turns can do. That's a five position difference for two guys who were just fighting wheel to wheel. Preston Reed chiming in saying Houdini is going to finish in the points today. I hope so. As a McLaren fan myself, I would love to see one of those papayas making their way up, currently sitting 19th and 20th on the line. They have a lot of work to do here. I was not able to see what the suggested tire strategy was. Hey! Wow, speak it into existence. Looking like we may have a one-stop possibility. We'll have to see if these drivers choose to go two-stop or one.
We do have 29 laps, so it's one of the shorter, at least that we've covered so far this season. And off the start, we do have just a couple position changes. VTEC has dropped down 4. We saw him slowly ticking away. Cake and Fireballer have both jumped up 3, but the top of the race, the top 6 drivers have all remained in the same position.
Yeah, they seem to have gotten out in front of all of this. However, they are not out of DRS warning. Got Palmer now taking fastest lap from 3rd place. That'll be very interesting to see once DRS is activated, as all 6, 7, 8 of those top drivers are within 1 second of one another, which means they are going to start flying here in just about a lap's time. We'll wait to see how that transpires. Most of this pack is pretty dense right now. You'd love to see it, as got Palmer right behind Callie Robb. Can he make a move on this straight? He's definitely going to jut out and try. He's going to try and take the outside line, but Callie Robb's going to shut the door on him, pushing him closer and closer to that line to keep him in 3rd place.
It was a bit of Callie Robb, and it also was Ryan Rods up in the lead. As Scott Palmer went to the outside to try and pass Callie Robb, Ryan Rods moved to the outside. There was nowhere for Scott Palmer to go, so he had to kind of give up on that overtake to not ram into the back of Ryan Rods as they entered the turn.
Cheeky, I'll tell you what. He's still there, though, under 1/10, 100. Now I'm self-conscious about my math.
You got it right. It's hard with the chat sometimes being 20 seconds behind, too. We don't know which one we were referencing. Race Day is also 1/10 behind Scott Palmer. So now he is closing in. We got 2 Ferraris up in the top 4.
These Ferraris are definitely hunting. And look, right behind, we have 2 Mercedes sandwiching a Red Bull of Lancy as well. Oh, sorry, that's a Mercedes and an Aston Martin. It looked black like a Mercedes from that camera angle, but never mind. Ignore me. We're here 2 weeks later. We're still doing it. We have a caution in Sector 1. We're going to wait and see who that was. Looking like it was a white car who stopped on the track. Is that one of the Haas? Oh, it's one of the Haas. It's Scabney. Had some sort of issue. We hope that was not terminal damage. We see that front wing missing. Maybe some underbody damage. We'll have to wait and see. That is so unfortunate. Yet again, Another Haas having issues here on the track. Hopefully this does not result in a DNF here, just 4 laps in.
You know what gets me every time? I look at the mini map to look for the car that stopped, and I see a
Safety
yellow
car.
dot, and I'm like, who's the yellow team? Maybe it's Braun from the Hulu series?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And then I realize it's just the safety car getting ready into position so everyone else can fall in behind. I think we had most drivers on mediums and hards. Well, all of them on mediums except for Scavney. So I don't see any pit stops happening right now. We're just 4 laps in. Those mediums would probably go to a lap 10, 11, 12, 13 range and then switch over to hards, I believe is the strategy that Amazon was suggesting. So I imagine most people are going to stay out. You have some movement, though. Did someone go
We do
into
have
pits?
some pits. Yeah, it looks like Cali Rob having some penalty there. Multiple warnings for track limits as he heads into the pits. But some of these drivers taking the advantage now, swapping onto the hards, trying to do the longer stint. Potentially, this is the one stop, but that's really going to push them towards the end of the race. So do you think they're going to try and top this one off with soft tires towards the end?
Yeah, I was about to say they might go hard right now and then soft at the very end.
Yeah.
Not a bad move, and it looks like Galt Palmer did stay out in Ryan Rod, so some of the leaders did. But I was going to say mid-pack, that's not a terrible idea because you would kind of dip down to the back anyways, and then everyone would still be doing one pit stop, so you would have enough time to do that.
Well, Gott Palmer's Williams is fighting for victory here today. However, Fireballer, his teammate, appears to have left the session. We'll see if he's able to rejoin today's contest, but that may be an early out for the other Williams due to network connections. That's an unfortunate turn.
Yeah, network connections. It must be the internet in general tonight. Thursday night, heating up across the world.
Yeah, man.
It's unfortunate for Williams, though, as they are in second place in the Constructors' Cup. They jumped up from 4th after last week. But with only one driver in the race, you need 90% of the race to get points, so Fireballer will not. That's going to drop Williams a couple positions, I would say. They only are 15 above Alpine, and then Ferrari and AlphaTauri are just 23 behind that. 22 total behind Williams.
Well, then Gott Palmer is definitely going to try and scrounge every point he can here tonight by himself, for what it's worth at least.
I mean, hey, if you can get another victory and can still help this team through the Constructors' Cup right now.
Absolutely. And it does look like Scavney was able to rejoin the pack, thankfully. The Haas will not be bowing out here in the early stages of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, but he does have a mountain to climb to get back into contention if he wants to see any points that will matter in the long run. Like to take this moment just for a general PSA and goodwill, regardless of what holiday you are celebrating in the upcoming month. If you're able to, take some time and donate either your time, some money, a small gift, small item to a charity or a cause, local or national, otherwise. Just try and spread some joy this upcoming month if you are able. Definitely having these viewers and MidWest eSports allow us to host is a gift in itself for the two of us. So yeah, I can spare some and give that up to somebody else. I'm trying to come up with like PSAs for the safety car breaks, and that one was just off the cuff. So
it was a good one though. Hey, it's very important. That can be our PSA safety car PSA segment. We've been tossing some around like safety car SAT or safety car accent, maybe
alliterism.
Safety car ethical debates, but that would just be a huge problem.
That's right.
Steer clear from those.
An AI debate. Oh my gosh.
We did get a fun fact though from Pork Chops, aka Dallas Johnson, aka Pork Chops. The season 5 final point standings: Ryan Rod's 1254, Scavney 1254, Scarenzi, 1,110. Cake Thomas, 1,018. So Ryan Rods and Scabney tying for first, and then Scarenzi's up there. Cake is up there. Who else is on this list that has the same name? There is a Bacon.
I don't believe he's racing here tonight.
PSR Edwin, Helgelin, Lando Norris.
Oh.
Might know that name. Probably a different Lando Norris.
That's a familiar one, yeah.
It's cool to see that drivers have been racing, 6 seasons now, if that's season 5. And I'm sure before that too. I mean, he had said Ryan Rods has the history when we called him a rookie. Obviously, he had won before, and he is back to win again. I actually believe that after season 10, Scarenzi tied the amount of Drivers' Championship wins as Ryan Rods, and maybe that prompted Ryan to come back.
It's absolutely unreal. We did miss some action. We are underway again. Got Palmer now has the lead over Ryan Rods. But yeah, following last race that we covered on the channel, and all of my foibles calling Ryan Rods a rookie, he educated me that not only has he been here for a while, but he has been racing with some of these drivers before MidWest was even a thing. Or at least they were racing somewhere else and they came over to Midwest. I'm not exactly sure on the timelines there, but yeah, it's wonderful to see how this community travels and how the sportsmanship just carries over years. This is not a fad. This is not just a flash in the pan. We do have a stopped vehicle. That is Gunner's McLaren having some issues. Let's do a quick front wing check. Looks like everything was there. All hands and toes accounted for. So maybe that was just a little spin there through the chicane. I know we saw Cake Thomas in the Alpha during qualifying unable to settle the rear end of his car around some of those corners. Maybe Gunner descented a little too hard. A reminder that these drivers do not have any kind of traction control on right now at the moment. These cars are in their control. We have a bit of a lockup in front of the Ferrari of Cali Rob. That may have been Cake, that may have been Arrow, but someone really, really chomping it into this finish straight. Scarenzi now moving up into third place past GSR Edwin. And he's right behind Ryan Rods and got Palmer there. Race Day also moving past Electric Blade. Electric Blade now moving down Light Work, leaving room for Light Work to take 11th as well. Hey, Ellie. Nice to see you in the chat again. Knew you were here, just lurking.
We almost saw a cheeky overtake from Aero Racing on GSR Edwin, and then he had to correct his car and come back towards the center of the track. Seems like a lot of action happens whenever we go watch someone else in this race, so it might be one of those days.
It's always just one of those days. Yeah, it happens. But we are here. Nonetheless, we will try our best to cover it, even if it's just our voices. Sorry about that. If we had time to do post-production, we could take all of the drivers' cams and make a really baller stream. Maybe we'll save that for the final this year.
We'll come up with something for that once we settle in winter season. We'll have a lot of time on the weekends to do some fun stuff.
Oh, yeah. Talking about doing some fun stuff, Lancey and Race Day going back and forth here on the straight as Lancey remains victorious there. We do have some lockups heading into turn one. But Lancey and Race Day still going toe-to-toe. These two have not had the final word. Cali Rob, GSR Edwin also going back and forth. Both of the Ferraris picking fights here in lap 9 of 29. That's easy math. 20 left to go here in Abu Dhabi. And honestly, it's anyone's race. Ryan Rod's back in the lead as Got Palmer settles back into second place. Scarenzi not far behind on Scarenzi's terms.
And this is a massive chain through the middle. We see a ton of drivers all bunched up.
Yeah, and with DRS enabled right now, every single one of these activation zones just lights up like a Christmas tree, and you're seeing so much movement. I will be very impressed if we make it through this without another caution flag, but on camera right there we see one of was that Electric Blade just heading straight into the wall. No. Who was that? Who is dropping points? Someone is without a front wing, and I believe it was another Haas. Let's check Scabney again. running through that front wing allotment. Wasn't sure if that was a lockup or a nudge, but Scavney taking another header into the wall. We saw it in the back of the pack on that camera angle. It's going to trigger yet another safety car. We're going to have another bunch up here for the entire pack, which is going to make for another exciting restart. Do these drivers, do you pit now and go back to mediums, or do you maintain on the hards? Because your mediums might be able to get you some distance. I don't know. You can get 10 laps out of the mediums and then push 9 for the softs, but that's definitely a gamble.
I think if you pitted last time, you're going to stay out, especially if you went to those hard tires. You might see the leaders pit now and put on the hards for the rest of the race, or also switch to soft tires. We'll see. I think this is the first go around after that safety car.
Yeah.
Let's jump to the leaders.
Yeah, let's see what these folks decide to do. Yep, here we go. We're seeing our leader, Ryan Rods, head into the pit, followed by Gott Palmer and Scarenzi. It is a full sail change for the top of the pack here. Just like you said, Mitch, those who did not pit last time are taking this opportunity to switch to presumably hards. Yep, there we go right there. Now, whether or not they push those hards to the very end or they decide to make another switch later in the race, pending any safety cars, any pause in the action, remains yet to be seen. But Ryan Rod's now sitting in 10th place as Callie Robb takes a brief trip around in first place, followed by Cake Thomas, VTech, and Lansing.
And look who is up in the top right now. We do have Cake Thomas.
It's your turn for the PSA, by the way. And yeah,
don't
holy
worry.
Crap. I hope, where was the name? I hope friend of Cake, or no, sorry, that was someone said Houdini's getting.
You're doing great.
Never mind, I really am. Take away the PSA. Go for it.
Well, thankfully, I was using one of my favorite things, AI, to have some fun with this.
No!
And we do have some very great PSAs for all you Formula One fans. Tip number 1 is to always keep a spare engine in your trunk. You never know when you might need a quick engine swap.
You know, not enough people think about the extra engine that you always need to carry on your person.
I mean, hey, just keeps the car running, right?
Just have an extra ice hanging out in the
pop
back.
that in just like a tire. Tip number 2, also fantastic. If you're at a race and see a tire flying through the air, try to catch it.
Yeah,
good. It's quite valuable, and you could sell it on eBay.
I mean, with 3 races in the U.S. right now, if you're not bringing your baseball glove to the racetrack to try and catch a Pirelli tire that's flying through the air, you're definitely doing it wrong. All right, what else do we have? Safety car in this lap.
Perfect, because they are starting to run out of really good ones on here. If you somehow get drafted into a Formula One race, don't be afraid to take some risks.
Okay, well, just like we saw some of those drivers just completely driving off the track there.
But the finale of AI says, remember, these are just wild and unbelievable safety tips. Please do not try them at home. And now let's get back to the race.
Well, wow, thank you. Which AI was that? Which AI can we blame for that PSA?
You can blame Google Bard for that one.
There you go. Good old Bardy boy. Well, Bardy boy can't do what we're doing right now yet. We are back with the call of the race. Callie Robb now leading, followed by the Alfa Romeo of Cake Thomas, the Red Bull of Lansing, and the second Ferrari of race day.
Cake is going to be an interesting one to watch the rest of this race because he is on the original tires, these medium tires. So he's going to have to pit at some point. But what does he go for? Does he stretch these and go for soft? He has to change. He can't stay on medium. So he either has to pit real soon and go onto hard tires. And with the safety car, he didn't have much of a gap. So that would just, put him close to the back of the pack. Or do you try and drag these out and then put soft tires on?
Something in my bones is saying he's trying to hold out for the soft tires, which scares me. But he could absolutely make it happen. We will see. He's now dropped down into 4th place. Probably due to the fact that he is running tires that he found in the bargain bin at the Walmart before the race.
Yeah. We got a little bit of a snap from Lightwork in the AlphaTauri, but Cake is still behind him right now, and Cynical is pushing right up behind both of them. And got Palmer not too far behind. Cynical going past Cake Thomas. And then Cake, and then back, and then fourth. But Cynical's able to stick it out in the Aston Martin and stay in 5th place.
Yeah, that was a great move there. Watching the snap of Lightwork, Cake trying to push, and Cynical just taking all of the glory there. But now the fight is still on as Cake Thomas overtakes Cynical. Cynical and Lightwork now going after it. They're wheel to wheel for a brief moment, but Lightwork tries to close the gap. Cynical trying to find a way out. This is an absolute dogfight from the view of Sharia Coleslaw back in 7th. He's going to try to push up to join the action here, but it is still Lightwork and Cynical wheel to wheel behind Cake Thomas. It's Cynical, it's Lightwork, it's Cynical again.
And Ryan Rods just snuck up in the back of this party, and look who else is here. Scarenzi joining wheel to wheel.
Driving got Palmer off the track is Scarenzi with his overtake. Got Palmer able to reclaim his vehicle, but not without some lost positions. Aero Racing and got Palmer now going back and forth. This is an absolute mess right now. DRS is enabled, and these cars just don't know what to do with themselves. There's too many of them in one spot.
That was just an insane amount of cars. These 4 are still holding it down. Ryan Rods, Lightwork, Cynical, and Cake Thomas. And we are going into a DRS zone. Ryan Rods able to cut the corner and slip past Lightwork for now. But they're all going to get those wings open except for Cynical up in the front. And you see them try and spread and weave back and forth.
You can see what a difference a line makes with Cynical and Ryan Rods taking that inside line past Lightwork. Just able to take that delta and let the cars do what those cars do best. It looks like they were shot out of a cannon there as the duo went by all of the traffic. It's now Ryan Rods and Cynical swapping spots, trying to fight for 4th.
This is a tough corner too. That's another one of those big sweeping corners, but you can spin pretty easily. Very difficult to get that line right. And here, Cake goes a little bit wide, and Scarenzi finds the gap out of nowhere and shoots past him into 7th.
On the outside.
And now we do have Sharia Coleslaw, and the Red Bull dropping down has gone into the wall at that U-turn.
So unfortunate there for Red Bull. Just as Lancey was able to overtake Race Day not too long before for 1st place. A Red Bull now sitting on top and on the bottom, well, near to the bottom. But we will see. It looks like the caution flag has gone away, which leads me to believe that there's no debris. Sharia will clean himself up and return to racing when he is able to. But yeah, no stop in the action there. Good work. Way to crash clean, Sharia.
And I'm just
Cake Thomas Aero
tires.
Racing. Cake Thomas Aero Racing going back and forth for the battle for 10th place.
Here they are. Oh, and someone went off track. It looks like Nikki in the Alpine.
Will that trigger a safety car?
He is back on track. I think we are good. These, look at that pack of 4 too. We got both Aston Martins in the mix.
Cake Thomas also dropping behind Electric Blade now. Gunner with a 3-second track warning penalty. And now we have movement. Cynical dropping back a few spots. Now down into 8th place as Got Palmer, Lightwork, and Scarenzi are able to make their way by.
We've got Aston Martins almost fighting each other, trying to get past. Again, a cluster, and it looks like Lightwork had a problem exiting the finish line straight. So both Aston Martins will slip past him, and he is dropping back into Edwin territory.
I'm not sure what's going on with Lightwork, but that is not the first time that we have seen, I believe it was Cynical and Ryan Rods past Lightwork in a very similar left-hand corner. Not sure if he's just applying too much brake or what's going on with that AlphaTauri. but he has definitely been having some issues here out on track tonight as we see him pretty routinely dropping down the pack. Race day now back up on top as Cynical and Scarenzi trade spots back in 6th and 7th. It's now a fight between the Green Giants.
I think we have a chance of either Lancey or Ryan Rods trying to push up on race day.
Well, there he goes. Ryan Rods closing that gap with the quickness here.
This is another one of those tracks with DRS and then another DRS directly after with a separate detection zone. So if you get a pass on the first one, then you can be passed on the second one if you're jumping up in the first place. So it's always interesting to see who goes for it or who waits until that second detection.
Here we go. Will Ryan Rods have enough straight to do it here? He will not as we head back into Sector 1. He's going to try and take the inside line. He's got him. Ryan Rods back on top in lap 17 of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, followed by Race Day, Lancey and Callie Robb. Got Palmer and Scarenzi sitting 5th and 6th, trying to get their way back up. But that wall of Ferraris and Red Bulls, the livestock, keeping them from glory. You like that?
I do like that one. That's a good one. And Race Day jumping back out in front in the first DRS zone, but we are coming up into the second one in just a moment. It looks like Ryan Rods is keeping just behind him, and with this long of a straight, it won't be much of a battle.
No, and if we keep this up, it's going to be very taxing on the drivers, very taxing on the tire degradation. But, who doesn't love seeing these overtakes, thrilling overtakes every single DRS detection zone? These drivers are just running at the same caliber right now. They're all on the same wavelength, and it's making for a wonderful race. Right there, we see Ryan Rods, just a wee bit of wiggle. Not sure if that was something intentional or he was trying to reclaim the car there. But, yeah, Ryan Rods able to maintain as he tries to increase that gap. But Race Day keeping pace here. No, look at that. Ryan Rods has the line, able to put 2/10 on Race Day just after the first corner of Sector 1. Cake Thomas now with a track limits penalty appears, and he is now dropping into the pits to get those. Was he still on the same tires? Yes, he was. He's now on softs. Cake Thomas trying to push it with these last 11 laps as hard as he can to try and move up into the point, into the top 10, or just set a fastest lap. What is the goal?
Well, he does have a couple drivers above him that will have to do a pit stop. The 13-lap hard tire guys, they were stretching it because they were the first safety car to drop. Looks like Cake is 34 seconds off of the lead right now. So it is feasible that he could close that gap, at least on the ones that are on 13 tires. He could also, if somehow we get another safety car, he would be in excellent position if the rest of the pack wants to put on soft tires for the rest of the race.
Absolutely. With 10 laps to go, I have raised my standing desk to the standing position because the action is just unrelenting as we are now watching Gott Palmer try and catch Lancey's Red Bull. He is just on his butt. He may be able to do this once we hit DRS. Gott Palmer needs to maintain pace behind the Red Bull and avoid any overcorrections here. But he could be looking at a podium position, especially since some of those Ferraris are going to have to do some damage control with those very old tires.
And I love double passes like that, where you have the Williams on the inside and then Lancey and the Red Bull on the outside of Callie Robb, just going on both sides, whipping past him in speed. But now Callie Robb's going to have some DRS opportunities coming up in the second section. And I imagine they'll be trading places yet again because the top of this race, the top of this pack is still so close that it truly could be anyone that crosses the finish line first.
Looks like Electric Blade back in 10th is very, very close, as him and Lightwork have been going back and forth for the past better part of 10 laps now, trying to get one up on one another, but Lightwork able to put some distance between him and Haas. Look at how all of these gaps have just increased dramatically as this race has progressed. Even with the DRS zones, the double DRS zones, we have seen a lot of these drivers get a second up on one another. Just some significant, pacing here from the pack. Cali Rob now, well, almost. He was close.
And I'm looking too. He does have a 3-second penalty right now. So that will drop him down 2 positions right now. I don't know if he's going to be able to build too much of a gap, but even if he moves up at this point, I don't think he can move up and get enough of a gap to actually move up in those positions. I don't know if that made sense. It did in my head.
Oh, yeah. No, it definitely did. I just failed math, so you're hitting the smooth parts of my brain. Well, there he goes.
Talk the same language.
Cali Rob able to get past Lancy, and Gott Palmer able to get past Race Day. Both of the Ferraris now sitting 3rd and 4th, as one of them had a good lap there. The other one had the lap that he was given.
This is also, I was trying to look up the stat. It would be a bounce back for Ferrari because they did drop from 1st to 4th after the Vegas race in Constructors' Cup. So I'm finishing 3rd and 4th, 5th, 6th, depending on the penalty and its effect, is a fantastic finish for them, especially with Aston Martin, Williams, and Alpine being above them. Only Gott Palmer is above them, and the other car is out. Aston's currently in 6th and 11th. And then Alpine is in 8th and 17th. So Ferrari could jump back up into the top.
Yeah, they are by no means out of contention for this season, even for these first couple of weeks of racing here. Ferrari has been putting on one heck of a show out there, even though they may not be sitting atop the podium. Sorry, I was gonna go somewhere. I'm like choking on just my words right now. Literally, give me 1 second.
Looks like we have a bit of movement down in 13th. Houdini and Sui are battling in 12th and 11th. Preston at the beginning of the race, or before the race, predicted that Houdini would finish in the points, and then Houdini is almost up into the points, although now he has fallen behind Sui. It's not too far off of the delta of 10th position, but there are only 7 laps to go, and there hasn't been much upward movement. I am hoping he pulls that out, though, just to say that Houdini gets up into the points, and that would be very valuable for McLaren, who is still in 8th place.
Yeah, both of those McLarens earlier in this race, they both started at the bottom of the pack. They were able to make some moves up, pending Fireballers DNF and a couple of mechanical rapid disassemblies of the Alfa Romeo and the Red Bull there. McLaren has been able to capitalize on some of those events, still sitting further back in the pack there. But yeah, Houdini could very well make it up.
Just had Electric Blade going over Lightwork up into 9th. And we still have Scarenzi, Lancy, and Cali Rob battling. Lancy and the Red Bull able to jump up. Scarenzi also looking to go around the outside. Ferrari's fending him off for now, but it looks like Scarenzi is going to take that position and move up into 5th place.
Electric Blade and Lightwork are not completed with their battle either, as both of them are going back and forth lap after lap.
I love sweeping helicopter shots like this. I wish we could pick them
right
in this spectator mode, but this is just such a gorgeous shot. Shows you how long the chicane section is, where you just have a U-turn, a U-turn, a U-turn, and you get 4 or 5 U-turns all in a row.
Oh, that's grueling.
Ellie was also saying that Sui's got this. Was Sui our soft tire champion?
Sui may have been the soft tire champion.
And they're up in the 12th now. And they're gaining on Cynical, and then there's Lightwork right there, too.
Was Sui a soft tire? I believe Cake may be the only... Cake and Nikki.
It was Cake.
Okay. There we go. Houdini making moves, making money moves, passing Scabney there, and Scarenzi passing Lancy as well. Scabney and Houdini now back in battle. Those two in the back of the pack fighting it out. Lightwork and Electric Blade, the fight for the century is far from over. 6 laps to go, and we have movement all over this grid. All except for those top 3. Ryan Rod, Scott Palmer, and Race Day sitting pretty. They have 5 laps now remaining before they see a podium here in Abu Dhabi.
And they are building that gap. Scarenzi in 4th place is over 3 seconds behind. That's going to be hard to make up at this point. And 2 seconds between 1st and 2nd, 1.5 between 2nd and 3rd. I mean, we might see some changes right at the very end, but they're all at a DRS zone. They're just running the races at this point.
Did we know that Sui's is Scarenzi's brother? Yes, we did.
Yes. I need a chart on the wall. Maybe.
I'm telling you, we need, charts, graphs, everything. Family trees, 23andMe DNA tests. Get us all of it. And also, we can never have a 2-week break ever again because I'm so out of practice. I am loving the battle now between Electric Blade and Lightwork. It is far from over. We're seeing more of the battles. You've heard their names before. Houdini and Scabney going back and forth. Houdini is able to take the best of this lap. But that was due to a cut corner. So he is going to pay the price there with a 3-second penalty as Electric Blade and Lightwork continue to go toe-to-toe around these corners, around these DRS zones. These two are electrifying to watch here tonight.
I think these two are pulling the trucker move of just taking up both lanes on the highway and just driving next to each other the entire race, making it really hard for Cynical and Sui and Houdini to make any progress when these two are just passing each other back and forth. And there's a significant gap in front of them, almost 7 seconds. So whoever's leading will not have DRS, so they're not gaining. There's going to be a lot of passing, and then the rest are just kind of stuck behind watching this battle go on. We can watch from Cynical's camera because we're going to hit 2 DRS zones coming up.
I like to call that blocking move the Baltimore-Washington Parkway. If you know, if you know. I-95 is a 2-lane highway between Baltimore and Washington, D.C., and people love to just drive side by side for miles, like 10 miles under the speed.
We have a safety car in lap 25.
This could change literally everything. With 4 laps to go, pending on how long it takes to clean up whatever incident is out there. Looking like it might be Nikki in the Alpine. Still unclear as to who was messed up there, but we will wait to see who heads into the pit. But as the pack compresses once again, depending on if we see DRS again, this could be a very volatile end to the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix.
Now, I know it's not the end of the season, but was this the track, or am I really confused, where Max and Lewis came out of a safety car with just the final lap to decide the championship?
2021.
That was here, right?
It was absolutely here.
Yes. And
one of the
with
best.
This safety car, I imagine it's going to go in at the end of 27, or if not the end of 28, with 1 lap left.
Yeah. Wait, what happened to Ryan? Why is Ryan now down in 4th? How did I miss that?
That was a good
Got
question.
Palmer in
a lot
first.
Of people going into pits too.
Got Palmer in first. Race day. GSR Edwin, and then Ryan Rods.
That's why they decided to go on to the soft tires.
Okay.
And hopefully the safety car is long enough that they catch up, which it looks like they are right on the back. Scarenzi's got 8 seconds, but he could close that. And now you have the leaders, got Palmer, Race Day, and Edwin on 15 or 21 lap hard tires. And then 4th through 19th on fresh softs for the final few laps.
If you are not standing up, get up. This is it.
Standing disc, so I'm going to be hunched over.
Get up. It is time to go. If you are not like vibrating on a different level right now, I mean, Abu Dhabi, 3 laps remain. Everyone's bunched up. Everyone's on soft tires except for these top 3. This could get real messy real quick. Race Day coming through the paddock chat saying, "Oh, not again."
Here we go.
Here we go. Does the AI have a PSA for us?
You bet it does. If you're feeling hungry during the race, don't settle for a boring old hot dog or pretzel. Try catching a race car and eating its rear wing.
Excuse me.
Rear wings are made of delicious composite material that's sure to satisfy your hunger. Just be careful not to get caught by the safety marshal.
Also be careful when you're eating carbon fiber.
Yeah, you just don't want to get caught.
Is that what computers eat? Is that what artificial intelligence consumes?
Maybe.
Carbon fiber, composite materials.
You know what? I think the AI is hungry.
I'm hungry for the end of this race. This is everything right here. We have 2 laps remaining. Hopefully they can clean this up and we can get at least one more lap of action here. No one wants to end a race
2 laps
under a safety car. We hold our breath here as we wait to see the sign that the safety car will be pitting this lap. And still no confirmation on what that incident was. We can believe that it was Nicky down in 19th in the Alpine, but again, can't confirm exactly what happened there. That was a blur. I was not watching the pack. Watching a couple of those very, very close races there.
Safety car in. We'll have 2 laps. And I believe no DRS. I think it's lap 3 after the safety car. Might be lap 2.
Another call from the paddock chat. Callie Robb calling back to his team saying, "I'm definitely going to appeal both of the penalties that I was assessed, by the way." So we will see. Ferrari definitely looking to refute both of the penalties that were assessed to their second driver, Callie Robb. We'll see how that impacts today's standings. But we do know that the safety car will be in this lap, which gives us 2 laps to the checkered flag. The drivers warming up their tires. Got Palmer, a name that we are all too familiar with at this point in this season, is sitting atop the race, followed by Race Day, GSR Edwin, Ryan Rods.
Whoa! Oh no!
And we have a huge spin in the first before the line. We have Ryan Rods hitting the grandstands and spinning out. Terminal damage. We have yet another caution flag. Ryan Rods out of this race. Awful end for the AlphaTauri as he heads through traffic. The gas was pressed, and he just could not maintain his line, pushed off in traffic into the side of the grandstands.
And this one's going to be tough now, too. Galt Palmer did have a 3-second penalty, even though he's in the lead, and Scarenzi picked up a 5-second for ignoring yellow flag, which may have been during that accident with Ryan Rods. So that one may or may not come back. It'll be hard to tell who finishes in what position until the stewards clear all of this out. But we do just have 1.5 laps left, and currently Galt Palmer's in first, Scarenzi in second, and Lancey has just jumped up into third. Ferrari holding 4th and 5th.
Houdini's now in 11th place. We're still keeping eyes on that McLaren, see if they can break that 10th place mark for the first time in today's race. But yeah, what a tragic restart for Ryan Rods. Had such a wonderful race today, a commanding lead for the majority of today's contest. taken out by a potential early start by Scarenzi there before the line. But Gott Palmer's going to try and hold off Scarenzi best he can in these last lap and a half. Scarenzi trying to make a move on the outside. Will he be able to get him? He will! Scarenzi takes first place as now Lancey gets past Gott Palmer. Aero Racing Design drops and Callie Robb moving up.
There was so much going on. I can't tell if it was just technical glitch or what, but both Ferraris going into each other almost and now splitting them up. Aero Racing Design jumping up into 5th place.
An absolute electric end to today's race. We are on the back straight. And Scarenzi taking the lead in the the last possible second of today's race. Getting by Lancey and Gott Palmer now. Gott Palmer dropping down into 4th as Callie Robb makes his way up, but gets yet another possible track limits penalty. So Callie Robb, it's anyone's guess as to where he is going to finish with now, 3 penalties? 3 penalties on him. Light work moving past Gott Palmer. Gott Palmer may have some issues with his car. What on earth? Your final order. I don't know what to make sense of this. Too much is happening. Who won that race? What just happened?
I'm not sure yet. Scarenzi crossed the finish line first. He had a 5-second penalty for ignoring a yellow flag, but I think it was the very short yellow flag from Ryan Rods going out in the final 2 laps. So we don't know. Looks like Red Bull is on top right now, followed by... I'm confused on directions.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Followed by Alpine, followed by AlphaTauri.
And it sounds like Scarenzi saying the penalty was for the illegal overtake on Edwin after he went off track because the yellow flag wasn't cleared yet because they had not crossed the finish line to start the lap.
Right.
So some penalties were handed out because of rules and regulations. We'll see what happens. But from the game right now, Red Bull and Lancey on first, Aero Racing second, Lightwork third. But we imagine some changes will happen after the stewards can review this race.
Yes, the drivers are just going berserk in the paddock chat right now. They don't know what to make of that race, and neither do we. That was a very interesting end to a very exciting, but I don't know, I don't know, that was a phenomenal race, and I don't know what to think about it because those last 3 laps just scrambled my head like eggs.
And we did have both Haas cars finishing the race.
That's a win. That's one fact that we can take away from today's contest, that both of those Haas's did complete this race. That is a win for everybody involved. But like we always say, the standings that we just saw on screen are not the final end-all be-all standings for the league. The stewards will definitely be reviewing a ton of penalties, a ton of incidents here tonight from Abu Dhabi, and they will be getting us final standings throughout this week, and we will be able to report on those in the next scheduled race, which takes us to Belgium. We will have the Belgian Grand Prix next week, and I don't think we are in D1 next week.
I don't believe so. We can pull that up.
Let me check
here. I'll beat you to it.
No, you won't. We are in D1, so we will see you back here next week. The following week, the Mexican Grand Prix, we take a 3-week hiatus to visit the other divisions, but then we will return to D1 for COTA for the Austin Grand Prix. We love it, and we will definitely be able to cover those standings and everything that happened with all of the Stewart moves next week. That will be the pre-game show before qualifying next week. We promise we'll start a little before qualifying action so we can cover all of that and just, close the chapter on Abu Dhabi. But week 4, after 2 weeks of hiatus on this channel, 1 week hiatus for the league, we have a very, very emotional kind of grab bag of a race. I really don't know how to put it into words. There was a lot that happened. There was nothing that happened, and everything in between. That was a fun one.
And I did see, I think Lightwork, it's very hard to read. Lightwork was saying that some of the best racing on track that he's had in a while, there was some incredible battles, and not many that, I don't think a lot of the safety cars were from actual like bad collisions. There were just some really good clean fights on that track.
Yeah, the fight between Lightwork and Electric Blade. I wish I had a camera, a picture-in-picture of that entire race, because yeah, it was just phenomenal. Even watching them just on the side screen there between the points, you know, or the intervals, going back and forth. That was an absolute dogfight from both of them, and that deserves a ton of praise as well, because it is not hard to keep that kind of focus whenever you're going wheel to wheel for the length of an entire race with somebody. Just an incredible dance from both of those athletes there. You ready to wrap it up?
Yeah, let's do it.
Cool. Thanks for joining us for week 4 of Midwest Esports Formula 1 Division 1 on Nick and Mitch. You can follow us here. You can subscribe to our channel. Well, here, hold on. Let's do this in order. Special thanks goes out to all of our YouTube members. Thank you very much to our executive producers, Bone Crusher 2D, Coach 34, Mama Bell, and who else?
Bone Crusher?
I already said Bone Crusher. Oh, shoot. This is the first time that I've lost it. Oh, boy.
You're fumbling at the finish line.
I've fumbled today's entire live stream. Let's be honest about this.
I got this. Maybe. It should be right here.
Bone Crusher 2D, Coach 34, Mama Bell, and...
I thought there was only 3.
Oh, is there only 3?
Yeah.
Okay. Our co-producers, Captain Snowbeard and Kill a Vapor, and our fan, and Kirsten, and our fans and fans plus. Holy thank you very much.
We've been off recording for like 3 weeks.
Yeah, thank you very much for supporting this channel. If you would like to become a member and see what all of those perks are, what comes with being a member on Nick and Mitch, you can click the join button on the channel, but you can just click subscribe for free to stay up to date on everything right there. You see that little button that's going to pop up just like we had earlier today. Thank you again for the follow early on today's stream. We will be back on Wednesday next week at 9 a.m. with episode 98, the 98th edition of the Riders Report, which is a weekly video series, news series wrap up of everything going on in the community of Riders Republic, a Ubisoft title over there that we've grown close to over the years. But we will definitely be back next Thursday as well for another entry, week 5 of season 11 of the Midwest Esports Formula 1 series from Belgium. Can't wait.
That's it. I think you covered all of it.
That's it. All right.
That's it.
Hey, everyone. Have a great week. Have a great weekend. Drive fast, drive safe, and we'll see you in Spa. I'm Nick.
And I'm Mitch.
Have a great night.